Hi, everyone. How's it going? Don't mind Jeremy. He's not laughing at anything. We're here to play some Alien. All Fear the Ishtar, our Alien campaign, second episode. I have no idea. Did I even unmute things? I did. One of you say something.
I say something.
Oh, good job. I did unmute things. Hey, everyone. How's it going? We're here to play some Alien. All Fear the Ishtar. We are short a Dan tonight. Ironically enough, he had to go pick up his dad from the airport, so the pilot's job is never done. I have no idea. I really don't. Let's do introductions, and then we'll do a little recap and get into it. I really want to save Pierce for last. So Jeremy, who you playing?
I'm the assigned working Joe for this crew. Designation DR460N. I have been advised that my updated systems are to play the Seegson jingle. I am working Joe, working hard, not too slow, ready to go day or night. I work hard with all my might. Whatever you'll have me do, I've got just the tool for you. Remember, Seegson is not just affordable excellence. We are seeking tomorrow together. Seegson, you always have somebody behind you, watching.
Very good. Very good. Jeremy gets an extra 17 waffle points tonight. I don't know.
Waffle points? Oh my God.
Points. I have no idea.
Take those to Waffle House.
All right, Bert, what you got?
Hey, I'm Leo Coffee. I'm the ship spotter, help out in the gym. Oh, and I patch people up. Got this here med kit. Pretty good at putting intestines back inside you. That's my job, Leo Coffee.
Nice. Cool. Once again, we're short our pilot Otto. So John.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Ryan Sheridan, and I'm the representative of Seegson. I'm here to get the job done. It's just we just need some core samples and we can go. So that's my goal. I just want to get this done. So yeah, just looking to find some habitable colonies and whatnot, and try not to, get Dr. Pierce upset. Try to accommodate him. Yeah.
Yeah. And Jeff, who are you playing?
My name is Pierce. Dr. Dante Pierce, PhD. Several, in fact, geology, chemistry, volcanology, others. But I'm not here to celebrate my academic achievements or the robustness of my curriculum vitae, the sheer girth of my publication history. I'm here to save lives. I'm often called a overly serious man. That's because we live in an overly serious universe who cares not a whim for your feelings. It will take from you without even a moment's notice all that you hold dear. War, cancer, a chicken wing lodged in the throat of your favorite uncle, a seemingly random spout of lava that melts before you the only woman you've ever loved. The rapid boiling of a lake that the two children you hope to be a father to were cooked alive by. It happens, damn it. More than you might think. If it takes a morose and serious disposition to prevent it from happening again, then I'll gladly take that bullet. But condescend to me. Tell me to calm down, or that everything's fine, or to take it down a notch. Well, maybe that bullet will find a different home. Eh, Ryan?
No, it's Ryan B. Ryan B. Sheridan.
Sure it is. You keep telling yourself that.
It's on my birth certificate.
You think those things can't be faked?
It's Ryan Brian Sheridan. My parents they thought it was funny. So.
Everything's just a joke to you, isn't it, Ryan? Just a joke.
That's how I deal with the bad things in life.
Ha. Yes. You laugh at them. Meanwhile, people die because of your laughter. But go ahead. You administrate how you think it should be administrated. That's fine. The rest of us will do the real work, Ryan. The real work. Me, Coffee, even Dragon. I don't know where Otto is. He's kind of a shitty pilot, but that's fine. That's all we have, damn it.
Okay. So, last session was eventful. You all came out of cryo, job on the
Hold
table.
on, Chuck. I think the intensometer just got a little bit up there. We got to give it a second to settle down now.
Get your breath, control your heart rate. There you go. Okay, we're good. Yeah, last session, you woke up to finish the job that you were hired to do, which was show up on object 978 and section some numbers and do a couple core samples. Very easy. That is why they brought hired Dr. Pierce along with his advanced degrees in geology, volcanology, every other kind of ology relating to.
Several.
Yeah.
Also the strees, like chemistry.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes.
Okay.
And
That's
some of the
impressive.
onomies as well. Astronomy.
Oh, everywhere. Just a
Yes.
all around Renaissance man.
I cover all the scientific suffixes. That's
Nice.
difficult to say.
So, yeah. You approached the planet, landed without a problem. You were told that there was a science station on the planet that you were to rendezvous at. And Ryan had a couple objectives there in addition to the core samples. Ryan, you want to remind us what your objectives were real quick? Or are?
Those.
That's buried somewhere in there.
It is buried somewhere. Sure where it went.
This is the type of management we have to deal with here at Sixon Biotech.
You're welcome.
This kind of delay is the reason why the settlers couldn't get out in time before the volcanic explosions, the
I keep telling
pyroclastic
you,
eruptions.
I
Just
wasn't there.
weren't you, Ryan?
No.
You were always there.
Okay. Yes, we also had the additional goals in which we needed to evaluate the mental well-being of the staff that was at the scientific research station, and we are also to assess the viability of this planet for colonization.
Mr. Sheridan there, I just turned in the paperwork. I have, in fact, rubber stamped them as crazy nut jobs.
Well, given that we currently only know the whereabouts of one, that seems a fair and accurate assessment.
Yeah. So
We have
what?
suspicions on where they might be or where they were at one point?
Well, one of the things I'd like to do is actually check to see how many spacesuits are still here.
Okay.
Eureka. Someone actually has a good idea for once.
Well, why don't we, yeah, we can get into that. So we'll pick up, Joe, you were down in the main, hangar, repairing the doors. That way they can be closed. That way proper atmosphere can be contained in there. You have all the parts for repairing. They've got 2 land vehicles in there, and you've got all the parts to repair those. You did see, while you were out there repairing, a man standing on the horizon, one arm. Didn't look like he was wearing a suit, which isn't a good thing. Although this planet isn't extremely hostile, it's still not survivable prolonged periods without a suit. There's pressure difference, temperature differences, and the atmosphere isn't right. And the rest of you all were having a conversation with Dr. Spinner, the lone scientist remaining in the facility, where he, through a line of questioning, was kind of coming out with little bits of information here and there until finally Joe revealed that he did in fact see the one-armed man while you all were trying to convince him to invite the one-armed man to see his play, but he ended up storming off out of the room very almost immediately after that. And I'll let you all kind of take up what you want to do from there. So Ryan, you've thrown out the idea of investigating how many pressure suits remain. You can very easily go and track that down. You find you've spent enough time here looking around. You kind of dug around on the bridge, the control centers, terminals a little bit. And there were flagged 25 suits in the system. 24 of these staff that were initially listed on the roster, plus a few spares. And it tells you where they're stored at. And sure enough, if you follow up on that, if you head down to the storage compartment next to one of the, hey, Tim Scott, thank you for that sub. That's fantastic. Head down to one of the storage compartments next to the, one of the main airlocks leaving the ship. Open it up. There are, in fact, 20 some odd suits hanging in here.
That's not great.
Why don't you go ahead and I gotta refresh myself on which skill that's called in this system. I want to say observation sounds right. That is correct. Give me an observation test. Anyone else who's tagging along with Ryan to check this out, go ahead. You're free to roll this as well as you look into this storage bay full of these pressure suits hanging up. Oh, Ryan, you did good. Dr. Pierce, you did really good.
Do you wish for me to join you or to move forward with the repairs?
Keep moving forward with the repairs. We'll
Yeah.
need that vehicle soon.
I'm excited to repair it.
Leo wants to check out the private quarters of the missing people.
Sure.
Maybe they keep diaries.
Sure. Yeah, you'll head off. Let's take care of this observation test real quick. Yeah, you two start kind of looking over these suits. Thick with dust, very much so. Haven't been touched in quite a while. But you can see that almost all of these suits are ruined. They've all had, a lot of these suits, they've got this hard, kind of like plasteel style ribbing there to kind of maintain form and structure and give some rigidity to it to help deal with pressures and vacuums. And any clear sections, any open sections of just this cloth that it's made out of have been cut out. So it's just missing all of these patches all over. No, I mean, maybe you could put it together enough patch kits to salvage one, maybe two. But it looks like Dr. Spinner has harvested these.
For his puppet show.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can, a lot of these suits are, they're somewhat standardized, right? You buy them off the shelf, they're so large, but there is adjustments for each user that are usually made, and each suit is usually tagged and labeled. And you can see that they are all, like a bunch of them, except for the spares, do have like the name badge on them. Tailoring is adjusted some to better fit the wearer. And you also have, I believe, the roster of all of the people who were here, and it lines up. It does.
Okay.
Here's the thing, Ryan. They've been gone for years. Years. I don't think we're going to find evidence of them here. If we want to find what happened to them, I think we need to go to where that ship touched down.
But I'm also going to point out that they left here without spacesuits. So they are either dead or no longer human. And that happened years ago. And our mission is not to find them. Our mission is to get our core samples. And it would be a terrible thing if the core samples indicated that this would just be a terrible place for a colony and no one should be here. That'd be awful.
Why are
We
you
would just have to
winking at
move
me?
on. I don't know.
Should I call the doctor? Do you have some sort of muscular problem?
Sure. Probably just a bit of dust in the eye.
You don't think we should inquire? You don't think we should look into these people? Perhaps
Well,
there's
they
evidence of their
dis-
deaths, and we could find their remains and take something of them to give to their loved ones, give them
Well,
closure.
They haven't heard from their loved ones in what? How many years? Depending on the
Somewhere
person.
between 5 and 8, depending on the story.
Right. So there's that. I don't know. I mean, if you really want to go looking for them, certainly we could. But I'm just saying,
Oh,
we
I
have
don't
our.
think they're alive.
We have our yeah. But I'm saying our goals are pretty clear cut and straightforward. If Seekson wants to send somebody out here to figure all this out, they're more than welcome to. And those people will be better trained and better qualified for that than a very talented volcanologist and me and, well, Otto and Leo and Dragon.
There's no one more qualified than I. And besides, where we need to drill for the core samples, it is not too far from where that ship supposedly touched down.
If you
And
want to
since
scope
I have
it
to
out,
do all the work to get the core samples, perhaps there's something we could do while they drill.
sure.
Let's kick it over to Leo after that conversation. You do find the crew quarters. It was like they didn't have individual rooms on here. You find there's three separate like communal quarter kind of things. They're all down the same hallway in this small kind of circular opening with the 3 doors on them. There are 2 additional doors, which looks like they open to like the restrooms for the crew quarters. Immediately looking at the 3 of them, 2 of the doors are open and the 3rd one is closed. Yeah.
All right. Well, start with what's open first. Just go
Sure.
through the items real slow. Just basically turn it over, check between the mattresses, just give it all a
Sure.
really good check.
There's going to be a bunch of
Personal
information.
data.
Yeah. Say that last sentence again.
Looking for personal data.
Sure.
They might have.
Okay. There's a bunch of information I'll give you, just you're going to see right off the bat, but go ahead and give me an observation test to see what additional things you're going to find.
Observation. Boom.
Equal a success. It's not
Aces.
terrible. Yeah.
Hey, real question.
Yeah.
Quick question. System-wise, what does stress do?
So stress does 2 things. There's the beneficial thing where for each point of stress you have, you get to roll an additional d6. So the more stress, the more pool dice in your pool. The
just have to do it
negative part of
automatically in
that.
this?
What's that?
Does this do it automatically when you roll?
It does. So right now it's showing that you've got 2 points of stress.
Gotcha.
The negative effect on that is on those stress die. If you roll essentially on the dice, if these were regular d6, if you roll a 1, if you roll the stress symbol, you're going to start to panic. And then we roll on the panic table and to see how things affect you. It can be where it absolutely has no effect on you to minor hindrances, nuisances to, you lose your
Berserk.
shit. Yeah.
I'm not saying I've
And that's what the
accidentally nearly
Yeah.
killed a teammate before, but
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Bert, your mic's kind of low. Do you got any kind of...
I just got to get closer to it. How's
Okay.
that?
Yeah, that's a
Get
lot
up
better. Yeah.
inside that microphone.
It looks
Gotta swallow the
new.
mic. Nah, it's my backup.
So yeah, you start digging around. You move into the first room. The room's stripped. I mean, just absolutely stripped. You can see the metal frames of the bunks. It looks like these rooms had capacity for 6 people. No, that's not right. It would have been 8 people per bunkhouse. Stripped. All of the steel framed bunks have been pushed up against the far wall. You can see a kind of crude stage has kind of been put together here. And you can see the signs of like arts and crafts, stuff like that. All sorts of different kind of like fabrics and things built. Definitely he's using this as like these puppet shows that he keeps talking about. Using it as a backup stage, practice area, something like that, craft area for making them. And you can see the scribblings, scraps of paper scattered about, crossed out, rewritten over. First thing I'll give you with your pass is these are all very early, different points of a draft of these plays he keeps talking about. Nonsensical, keeps going back, changing things. Nothing really kind of sinister or worthwhile stand out. That's in the first room. You move on to the second room with the second room with the door open. This one looks like it was in that state at some point. But the bunks have been pulled out. Looks like they're back in position. And you can see 5 mattresses have been laid back out with tattered, sewn together, sheets put over them. You can see that they're relatively dust free, at least when compared to like the previous room and the some of the other furnishings in the second room that you're in here. Looks like at some point he found time to come and set up sleeping quarters for you all. There's like he put out like a little on a table in the room, like these little cricket bars he was making. So he's got like snacks set out for you. He's got, like a pitcher of like water. It looks kind of dusty in there. Some disposable cups. So it looks like he was planning on you all bunking here. You will see that on this room, the thing that you get with your success here is that the terminal, the switch to close and open the door has been obviously tampered with. Like you can see the markings along the panel have scrape marks. You can see the screws are like partially stripped out, like he's gotten into it and then put it back together. And that's it for the 2 open rooms. Nothing really worthwhile. But as you move to the third room, it's the room with the door closed. You can actually hear, it sounds like Dr. Spinner is inside. You can hear like half muttering, half crying to himself. With your one observation, it's not quite enough for you to make out what he's saying. But if you would want to like put your ear up to the door and give me another observation test, you might be able to make something out.
Do want to do that. And then I'll just listen for a moment. If I can't hear it through, I'm going to call out to him. Observation, go.
There you go. Full of success.
Go 6.
Okay. Yeah, you put up to it. He, first off, distraught. He sounds very distraught. He's having a 2-sided conversation with himself. Oh, snap. Look who's that. Matry. Jeff, help me out here. I've forgotten.
There's no Jeff here. There's only Dr. Dante
Dr. Pierce. It's Matry, right?
I'm going to let you squirm.
Don't let me squirm. That's so rude. There it is. I want to get her name right. She's pretty cool.
You should. She is very cool.
So, you put your ear up two-sided conversation. You can hear there's sobs mixed in there.
Hold on. Two-sided conversation, so there's more than just his voice.
It's just him. You can hear him. He's talking to himself. He's asking questions.
Okay.
He's responding to himself. Very distressed. Yeah. So he, you pick it up going back and forth. He's just like, I don't know why they are even here. We should just tell them to leave, but I don't want to be alone anymore. It's just not fair. They're going to all go too. They aren't going to stay here. They're going to go, and then I'm going to be alone again. It's like, well, maybe I could leave with them. This back and forth, and then it kind of devolves into this fear of, but the one saw the one-armed man. Like, they saw him too. He never, I'm the only one who ever saw him before. This is different. This is strange. This is not the same. I knew the others shouldn't have gone over there to look. They came back not right. And they're all going to go out there and they're going to come back not right. And then it just kind of devolves into sobs, just whimperings of fear.
I will knock on the closed door and just call out as if I wasn't sitting here listening. Doctor.
1 second. And you hear actually sounds like a couple like sparks. Like imagine that noise you always hear in the movies when people are hot wiring a car.
Yep.
And then the door slides open and you can see this is his room, right? Completely set up. The walls are covered with like blankets and sheets and just pretty much anything he can get. He's got like these landscapes crudely drawn across them. But the thing that really stands out at first is when you look in, he is disassembled and rearranged the bunks into like a tent for himself. So he's
I'd like to do much the same.
yeah, sleeping in a blanket fort all on his own in here. But you can
Just
also
nod, like-
what's that?
I just nod, looking around like it's perfectly reasonable.
You can see that he does have a desk workspace here, covered notebooks and journals and everything. All look very ragged, well used. I apologized for my I had something come up that I had to take care of immediately. I have prepared a room for you all, so you're welcome to stay here tonight. I've put out snacks.
I noticed, Doctor, the locking system. There's some kind of malfunction with it. I noticed you had to hot wire them. It's all right. Give him a big winning smile. Say, Doctor, you've been alone for a long time. Why don't you come on up and let Leo do a little cooking for you? You like some coffee? I'm good with that. I can make you some waffles too.
I haven't had coffee.
That insect protein you got,
it's nutritious.
Mama's got an old recipe so I can whip up some waffles with that. Maybe make
go ahead and why don't you give me a let's do we're just going to call this a manipulation test. I don't feel like command really fits here.
Cool. I have none of that.
He's like, it has been quite a while since I've had coffee and it does sound good. But yes, the doors, being here is alone as long as I have, every creak of it all. Ooh.
Got a success, but a stress as well.
All right. So what are the rules for that? It's not calling for a panic.
Needs to roll. Yeah, he rolls stress. So he hits the stress button on his character sheet. He should be fine.
Yeah. So yeah, on your character sheets. Yeah, just click on stress.
He's keeping it together. He's a professional. He knows what he's doing.
You're doing good. I'm just going to test it on Dan. Okay, cool. Cool. Yeah, he'll go along with it. He's like, oh, maybe, yeah, getting to see something else for a few minutes might not be good, and I would not mind some coffee. Do you have creamer?
No, I think I can maybe rustle something up, but if I don't, I got some chocolate I can put in there and
Oh
give it a
my
little,
gosh,
give it a little mocha.
that
Mocha
sounds
kiss to that.
amazing. But yes, the doors, as long as I've been alone, old vessels like this, a lot of creaks as these solar cycles move on, heating, cooling. Some nights are particularly long and dark, and every little noise can sound like unseen danger. So sometimes it's nice to know that when I close the door, there's no opening it. I did have the same thing set up for yours, but I figured you all would probably like to be able to leave your room at night to go to the restroom without having to fiddle with wires.
I just nod and lead them away. But when I get them just out of sight a little bit, we got communicators, right? We got comms units,
Yeah,
some sort.
yeah.
Who's our computer guy on the crew, or who have I seen that's done the most with computers?
That I don't know. I'm pretty sure Otto would be decent. Of course, Dan's not here.
Dr. Pierce is.
I'll go with Joe
competent,
because
but
Joe's my
not
buddy.
The best.
Okay.
I'll hail Joe and say, Joe, this is Leo. When you get a chance, can you review the security logs and find out what's going on with these doors down here? The doctor seems to have hot wired them all. I'd like to know why. I'm thinking maybe somebody tried to trap him in the rooms down here and he figured out a way to get out.
I've experienced difficulty with doors at the bay as well. I'm excited to review this information.
Okay. So,
point of order. I believe Otto was investigating the doors last time.
oh god,
There you go.
I don't remember that. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. We'll keep it here with who we've got. So, Joe, you get called up to investigate these doors. As Leo, you take him, you get him across the umbilical into your ship. You can get him to your med bay. That's not a problem. You get him a cup of coffee. Seems to relax a little bit. But we'll take it over to Joe. So you were down in the bay, getting started, kind of getting everything situated so you could really get into the work. You realized he was fairly careful with deconstruction. Like you can even see that the bolts and pieces that he took out, the screws that he took out, he did put them kind of back where they went on the frame, or he used some tape to kind of tape them roughly where they were supposed to go. Even still, you will need to give me a heavy machinery test when you really get into this. We can do that now if you'd like. And it is going to take at least a shift. So you're looking at 6 hours worth of work to get both vehicles working. Now, if you just want to focus on one, I'd give it to you in about 3.
I was advised to do all repairs.
Okay.
That is what I will attempt to do.
Okay. So one success, you're going to do it. And I'll tell you what, you're going to be very efficient with your extra success. So when you get into this, because you're about to get pulled away, I'm going to say it's going to take you about, we'll go 4.5 hours. You'll be able to get it done a little quicker than initial estimates. But that's when you get the call from Leo to head up to the quarters to check out the doors. And I'll let you take it from here. And all of you would have heard this call as well.
What's the issue with the doors?
Bert, are you calling back out now that you kind of got him in the med bay and are
I had to
relaxing?
let him know that. Yeah, let you know that I'm keeping the doctor at bay for a bit.
Okay, I can check on the doors, Dragon, if you want to keep working.
I will gladly do so.
All right. Yeah, I'll go check check to see if there's any like security logs or anything like that.
Sure. Yeah, go. You make your way up to the crew quarters, and you can see very clearly the two doors that are in question. We'll call it the one on the left and the one in the center. Give me your Comtech rolls, or roll.
Sure thing.
Ooh, you need to roll stress for me.
I do. I'm not worried.
Yeah, thanks. You're alone.
It's creepy.
It's dark. It's creepy. Yeah, you pick up a nervous twitch. Luckily, there's no one else in short range, so
Yeah.
yeah, your stress just increases by 1. Sadly, you're not able to get into it. You're just
No.
a little too frazzled. You're not going to be able to get in and sort this out on your own.
All right. It's spooky time in here. Are the doors themselves, are they disabled?
No.
Anyway? Okay.
So all 3 of them.
Mhm.
So the door on the right, you take a quick look at it and you can see it's okay looking. Close it, open it a few times, it's fine. The door in the center, same thing. You're just pushing the button here, so we can do this without a roll. Close it, open it. But it's the door on the left. You kind of look at it and you can see the backside, the interior of this control panel has just been fully dissected. And you would be worried that closing it, you wouldn't know how to open it again.
Okay. And that's Dr. Spinner's room?
Yeah, you can see inside. He didn't close the door behind him. You can see his tent, his desk, all of the, scenery, landscapes he's got on these sheets and blankets on the walls.
I'm not gonna like go poking through the books, but I do want to look at like the scenery, landscapes, and stuff. If there's anything laid on the desk, and just give it a little once over.
Sure, observation. So while you're rolling that, Dr. Pierce, what would you be doing? Would you be tagging along with Ryan, or going to check something else out?
I think I've had my share of Ryan for today. I'll be going and doing something else. But I would like to be investigating some things. I want to get into the science. Science is where I find comfort.
Yeah.
And I want to look into this atmosphere.
Yeah.
If we're working under the theory that they left without suits, and I want to see just how caustic it is outside. That sort of thing.
Science test. Very easily. You find your way to the science bay where all the sensors are. And you can even, if you roll high enough, get access to their actual studies and their satellites and telescopes and whatnot they use for their deep space study. Did you want to push that, Ryan?
Yeah, why not? Why not?
It's normally observation.
Yeah, observation. I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay, Ryan, push comes through. As Dr. Pierce is rolling that, looking at these landscapes, you don't quite get it until you realize he's probably looking at these. Oh, Dr. Pierce.
What?
Why don't you go and roll that stress?
Why did you take that tone with me? Don't take that tone with me, Apollo. Call yourself mother.
My apologies.
This isn't Wayland, Utani. We are Sikhs and...
Looking at seems to be kind of the landscapes that he would see from the different windows and viewing ports on the ship. You can see the planes, all of it's kind of colored this like rusty reddish green color. You can see the kind of the mountains line up that Dr. Pierce kind of signaled that this ship supposedly went towards. And you can see one just kind of standing almost like directly, like if he's laying in bed and he looks directly to the left, this crude silhouette of a man with one arm. It's small, but it's there.
Right.
Dr. Pierce, you are keeping it together. It looks like a lot of the data that they have collected looks like it's been wiped. or at least it's hidden in a way that buried in the file system somewhere that you're not able to dig it up.
Peculiar, suspicious.
Yeah.
Both of these things.
What's that? Yeah, both.
I'll get on the comms and I'll say, I think we already know that our host is insane, hiding things from us. There's something on these files. I want to know more about this place, and I can't access them. This archaic system.
I can take a crack at it.
I didn't ask for your help, Ryan. Dragon,
right.
if you have a moment.
Well, do you want to get your core samples or not?
That's not how core samples work.
Right, but the longer you try to put Dragon on other tasks, the less time he has, or the longer it will take him to finish repairs on the vehicle so that you can go and do what you're here to do.
The less we know about this atmosphere, this place, whatever it is that did something to these people, the more dangerous that trip's going to be. We already have harvesters that we have to contend with. We might have the very atmosphere itself.
Any visual on any of those or anything, do we? I'm going to go up to the bridge and see what information I can pull up on some of this.
There'll be another contact. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
I am making good time on the repairs, and I would like to ensure the crew's safety.
Boy, these systems.
You gonna push?
I'm good for right now.
Okay.
Not that curious.
Same thing. You're trying to look for that data, and you're not finding it. Like, he didn't touch the medical data because very clearly Leo got into it. But these readings, these things you're looking for, you're not finding them.
Okay.
Joe, what did you mean keeping the crew safe? Were you looking to break off or just continue working?
Dr. Pierce has said my keyword. Basically, if he mentions crew safety, like that is pretty much.
Okay. Okay, you can break up. Who you want to go meet up with?
I assume Dr. Pierce.
Okay. Dr. Pierce. Joe is coming to you to provide assistance. Real quick, Leo, you've had him in the med bay for a little bit. Are you going to try and do what are you doing here? Just conversation? Just letting him decompress?
Yeah, I am. Exactly. I'm being a very good listener and kind of drawing him out.
Sure.
Nodding where appropriate and just trying to let it all out.
This is active listening skills. Let's go. We'll just go with observation. This is going to be playing into your training.
A success.
That tell that you picked up before, you can tell even in this more relaxed setting, it's still very noticeable when he's talking about his plays. He's talking about this, that, very rapid fire, just, direct feed. When he gets to subjects that he's a little more comfortable with, he kind of slows down. He's more deliberate with his wording. Every now and then he might drift back to like, oh, this crewmate here, then back on my play like this, that you're picking it up that he's still being a little bit dodgy about it. Let's see, you pulled an observation. What information are you going to dig out of him from this? We'll say that the thing that's probably going to key you off on this is he does mention it's been tough without my medication. I didn't bring enough, and then I made sure not to include it in my medical records. That way I wouldn't have any red flags that would keep me off this assignment.
Ooh. So I want to play on that and say, well, being a doctor, I do have access to certain medications on on the ship, and we didn't have to put this on your record or anything, but what is it that you have been short?
Yeah, he's gonna ramble off some very strange. I'm trying to think of what it is. Not necessarily a disease, but some kind of weird way his body processes proteins. He was on some medication to kind of help balance him out because it does affect his moods and his thought processes. But it also tends to lead towards certain sensitivities to some food products here and there. Some. He does mention it.
That there's called prion disease, doctor. Yeah, reverse proteins and all. Typically, you get it when you eat human flesh. You haven't been dining on anyone, have you?
No. This was something I was born with. Maybe my father was a cannibal.
Could be.
Anyway, so that's kind of gives off, and that's what I'll give you. What you pick up off that observation test. If you want to dig more into it, you do like a medical test or something like that.
The only one thing that I want to try and trip him up on is if the voice in his head has a name.
Okay. Ooh, I want a manipulation test for that. I do.
Okay, not good at this. I'm not very good at lying per se. So, yeah, I got a 6.
He does, and it's not really exciting. You can pick up every now and then when he's talking to himself in these conversations, he refers to himself as Brent or Dr. Spinner. So
there is no one in the crew manifest with the name Brent, right?
Him.
Okay, no, that is him. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good enough. Yeah, I just keep him talking, Chuck. Just keep him occupied.
Just keep him occupied, not a problem. Okay. Joe, you catch up with Dr. Pierce.
How may I be of assistance?
Dragon, I'm trying to ascertain a more thorough assessment of our environment, atmosphere, the terrain between here and our target. And I cannot seem to get through these blasted archaic systems. And more than that, I think our host might be hiding the information from us. I have dabbled a bit in networking, computer science, but I still have many credits left before my PhD in that field. So if you would be so kind as to lend me some of your expertise, I think before we go journeying to our core sample location, we should know all that we can to ensure proper safety of everyone involved.
That is an excellent idea. Forewarned is forearmed. Let us be prepared.
Yes.
What are you going to do, Joe?
I would be happy to show the doctor the finest in Seegson technology, the Seegson System Diagnostic Device for all your networking needs.
Okay. Yeah. Give me that ComTech. I believe you get a bonus from that device. If you right-click on the skill, I think you can manually plug in.
It's actually really nice that this on some of the items, if you put it in your inventory and make it active, it automatically includes it.
Oh, nice. Very cool. You pull a success. You can see that as you're starting to dig through looking for this file, this information that Dr. Pierce wants, it's buried deep, almost like archival kind of files, actively moved, like it wouldn't have ended up here by mistake. It wouldn't have been rerouted here in case of an equipment failure. Someone moved this data here. And yeah, you're going to start getting all sorts of information that they've gathered over the years from the sensors on the ship, their studies, their whatnot. Initially, you pointed out that you wanted to look at atmosphere. And it's cold. Not immediate death, but 20, 30 minutes at most, and you'd be looking at hypothermia. The atmosphere does have trace amounts of oxygen, but what's the not enough to live off of. Eventually, I forget what the hyper whatever it is, where your brain slowly loses oxygen. But you'd be dealing with
Hypoxia.
that's it. You'd be dealing with that for prolonged exposure. There is a pressure difference, but that's not as big of a deal. It would definitely be uncomfortable, and the lighter pressure does contribute to higher winds here. And Lot's probably prone to dust storms. So that's immediately what you're going to pull off the atmospheric information.
Dragon, you attempted repairs on the ground transport, is that correct?
That is correct, Doctor. I have begun the repairs, however, it will take significant time.
Are the vehicles airtight?
Yes, they would be appropriate for travel across this terrain.
So theoretically, someone could go outside without a suit on so long as they remain in the vehicle.
That is correct.
Are the signs of missing vehicles, other vehicles, spots in the bay of vehicles that have since disappeared?
I did not actively investigate for this. However, all necessary pieces do appear to be there.
I see.
I would be glad
Very
to investigate for any sign of this when I return.
Thank you, Dragon.
My pleasure. Your assumption was correct also. This data was actively moved to a different location.
Does it say when it was moved?
Oh, another
check.
comtech for that. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm curious if it was done prior to our arrival, so as to deter us, or if it's been like this for years.
That is a very logical question.
Maybe a day or two before you arrived,
This is not coincidence then.
which would kind of coincide a ship with that, the kind of sensor range that he would have to pick up that someone was coming.
He's hiding something from us, or he wants to delay us or deter our efforts in some way. Why, I don't know.
Do you feel that he is in some way a danger to our crew?
Most certainly.
Your intuition has been noted.
I have a
So I'm trying to get a recap. So Dr. Pierce and Joe are in the science lab digging through this
Yes.
information. Yeah. And Ryan is up in the bridge, essentially, trying to go over, but you're not able to find the specifics you're looking for, while Leo is on your ship, delaying, keeping Dr. Spinner busy. I want 2 observation tests, one from Ryan and one from Leo. Okay, good. Okay, Leo, you first. As you're still delaying, you can kind of see that he's scanning the room, like he's taking things in. You don't necessarily think anything of it, but most ships like this, they're like your ship, staying up to safety codes and whatnot, especially with a good representative like Ryan on board, make sure that emergency egresses, there's, things with any building you're in, you've got the little map of where to go in case of emergency. On the interior of most doors. Kind of when you look away, you're not talking to him. You pick up that he's really focused in on that. Not sure if how do I escape if this goes sideways, or if he's trying to learn more about how to get around your ship. He's very focused on that crude map of where to go in case of what. And so we'll come back to you on that in a moment. But then Ryan, kind of looking around, some of the things that are still operational on the bridge is there are some external cameras that are still online. And you can see, because they're very clearly labeled what you're looking at in each camera. With your your one success you get, you can see that the camera feed, you can find the one that's outside the bay door where Joe has been working. And at first you just glance past it. You're like, okay, sure. I fall looking for better things. But then it kind of dawns on you a moment later as you kind of look back up at this vid screen that what you thought was just patterns in the sand and the dirt outside looks very much like there are footprints walking along the exterior of it.
Like the exterior of the vehicle bay hatch.
Mm-hmm. Like you can see where it enters the camera on one side and cuts around clear too. So like someone was just walking past.
Dragon, are you still down in the bay?
Nice.
Negative. I have assisted with obtaining information at Dr. Pierce's request.
All right, fair.
It proved useful.
Oh, good. Can't wait to hear it. Yeah,
I am
just
glad to tell you then.
Yeah,
The data for the research was moved approximately 2 days before our arrival. This provides reasonable assurance that he knew of our coming and intentionally tried to remove the information from us.
Well, he did know of our coming anyway. Actually, that reminds me, I'm going to try to check the records and see if he said there was another crew that he was expecting to come to relieve them, I guess. I want to see if there's any validity to that. And yeah, so let's, we'll do that. But yeah, just confirming, we have some footprints outside the vehicle bay. So when you get back down there, just keep your eyes open,
Would you like for me to go outside and investigate further, or remain in the bay?
Remain in the bay for now. I think when it's time to go, I think we should all kind of maybe do a sweep or something outside.
Please ensure that you have all appropriate necessary safety gear before exiting.
Oh,
Dr.
I
Pierce
plan
has
to.
confirmed that the atmosphere is not safe for continued exposure.
I believe that.
Leo.
Once their
Yep, go ahead.
once their conversation is done, because that was on open comms, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'll turn to Dragon and I'll say, we might have a potential danger, threat outside of this base camp, and he doesn't want us investigating. We have one living soul and a few dozen missing. You saw a man with one arm walking around without a suit on. Does this kind of danger seem like something we should put on the back burner, Dragon?
I have reestablished the locks to the outside.
Yes, but
And
you've done a
completing the
full
repairs on the vehicle
perimeter
would
sweep.
allow us a more secure method of transport outside.
But it would also take time that those who are currently looking around the base for a possible way inside, air filters, such, who knows. You are the safety inspector, so if you say this is the safest course of action, then I will defer to you.
Joe is basically like a child. He would then immediately call Ryan back. It's basically like the kid who feels like he's being pulled between two parents.
It's because someone is doing that. Yeah.
Ryan,
It's because
Dr. Pierce
Dr.
is a
Pierce. Go ahead.
Oh, I apologize. I'll let you speak for yourself.
Just think that perhaps we shouldn't ignore the fact that there is someone wandering around outside the base.
All
when
right,
there is
then.
said to only
Dr.
be
Pierce,
one person
stop
alive.
talking. Go grab a gun. I'll go with you. We'll go investigate it. I'm tired of you changing your mind every 30 seconds. Let's get it done. Go grab a gun. You want to investigate it? Let's go. Joe, come with us.
Not sure when I changed my mind.
No. You're coming. We're all going.
I didn't say I wasn't going to come,
Okay,
Ryan.
well,
I think
then
you're
grab a
getting a
gun.
little
Let's go.
upset here.
I'm tired of you changing your mind every 30 minutes about what our priority should be and hearing about the loss of your almost family. I'm very sorry about all this, but I want to get the job done and go. So let's go and do this.
Dr. Coffee, do you have
I will meet you
sedatives? I
at
think
the airlock.
Ryan is having a bit of a moment here.
Yes, because you've never
Stress
had
seems to
any
be
the
getting
entire time. Shut up, Pierce. Let's go.
You know what? You're having this argument over open comms.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone who can take stress, take a point of stress.
Yay.
It has actually only been 27 minutes.
Oh, God.
Huh. Okay.
Leo, you do hear all of this, but you're still got that information in your head that he is very focused when he thinks you're looking away.
So I'm not even going to. So I just roll it into the conversation like it's a natural flow and say, "Oh, doctor, if you're worried, to my left here is the emergency escape. To the right's the kitchens, of course. Gym is up and down." I'm watching his face very carefully as I name off all the sections of the ship and where they are.
Observation.
One.
Okay, that's a pass. Yeah, so you're naming off all the different parts of the ship, trying to see what keys him off.
Yeah. Couldn't help but notice you're a little shifty about how everything's placed here, and I want to just alleviate that. We're very safe on this ship. You see, right here's the escape hatch. Right there is and just to go down through.
So the thing that he's not really, because he was looking for something specific here. Cryo. When you mention cryo, that's kind of what he picks up on. Like, oh, look at cryo. It's, from what I see on your map, it's just got one way in, no other ways. It's all alone at the end of a hall. It sounds like a very safe place.
Absolutely, doctor. Would you like another brick of chocolate in your coffee there?
I would love it.
Drop another
Absolutely,
square.
yes. Yes. It'll be, I mean, it's always good to know where to go when you need to feel safe. You never know who's out there. He looks a little uncomfortable after that moment.
Never know. I hear tell there's a one-armed man out there.
I don't know anything about that.
Right. It's all right, doctor.
And Leo, you do kind of hear that, and you do pick up that Ryan kind of losing his cool a little bit at Pierce calls out to venture outside and investigate these footprints that he's seen outside the bay where Joe was working.
I'm not responding to it because I don't want the doctor to know that I'm on comms with everyone. Just, filing it away. Probably also means since it's on an open channel, I'm leaving it open. You guys are hearing my side of the conversation.
Okay, that's fair.
So I will like say, yes, cryo gym is very safe. Yes, indeed. It only has one entrance.
Okay, so where are we at now? What are we doing now?
I'm at the airlock, suited up, ready to go.
Sure. Joe and Dr. Pierce, you meet down there, is that correct?
Of course. I'm excited to investigate.
Sure.
Sure. Yeah, you all get down there. You've still got your pressure suit, so it's
Yeah.
snap the helmets back on, you're good to go. So I'm sorry, Joe. You fix the door. You know how to open it. It's easy. It's working now. You make sure. I'm presuming make sure that the interior entrances to the bay are closed to not risk depressurizing the science vessel. Probably take a few minutes to secure your workspace. Make sure nothing blows out. Hey, Oak, how's it going? You open the door. It is, it does depressurize some. And why don't the three of you who are down there give me an observation test?
Yes, and that's something else I would like to do, if it's okay with you.
Sure.
I would like to pull out my motion sensor.
Oh, yeah.
I pull out my EV laser.
Oh, that's right, because you've got a laser gun. I don't remember, Dr. Pierce, did you have a weapon or not? I thought I remember
Oh,
you.
I bought one. I have a revolver.
Oh, a refined weapon for a refined gentleman. Yeah, so, oh God. This is Dr. Pierce.
I would argue that
Not
Ryan
so much
wouldn't
that he's
qualify
afraid,
for
but
that.
he's angry. He's angry.
Okay, so let's see. First off, Ryan, I'm trying to figure out where we started. We'll just go this. Joe, did you pass or fail?
Pass with 2.
Okay, cool. Dr. Pierce, looks like you did pull a success with stress. Nervous twitch. Okay. Ryan, Dr. Pierce, your stress level increases by 1. Whereas Ryan, did you pass or fail?
I passed.
Okay.
But
pass.
I also got a stress.
Tremble.
I went up to trembling. Yeah.
You now take a -2 to agility until your panic stops. Okay. So using that laser gun has become more difficult. So all of you did pass. We got 2 for Joe and Ryan and 3 for Pierce. Okay, that's good. Okay. Door opens, depressurizes. All this atmosphere inside kind of equalizes outside. And you can see very clearly that it immediately kind of like blows away these footprints. But you all do see these footprints. So you see them. They were there. You can actually see that they continue left and right outside of this. It looks like they were walking the perimeter of the ship. Just give or take, you're immediately kind of, as you take this in, Dr. Pierce, with your extra success, you see the same thing, but you pick up a couple more things. One, this thing's got a really long gait. These footprints easily, 5-6 feet apart. Looks like it would be a very tall person. The other thing that you see is it looks like, as you kind of move off to the side to check out the prints that didn't get wiped out by the door blowing open, looks like 1 barefoot and 1 foot with a boot on it.
So, a few things if it's all right. Motion tracker out. And then if I look over and I see Ryan trembling, I'll make sure we have closed comms for a second. And I'll say, get your shit together, Seekson. The hell's wrong with you?
Hey.
You're supposed to be leading this thing. Shut your mouth for a second.
You shut your fucking mouth.
I'm literally trying to help you, John.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh, is that a...
I'm trying to stop your panic.
Oh,
okay.
That's a good
So
thing.
I'm going to try to roll a command test to stop his panic.
Okay.
I forgot about that. Nice.
And I do. So now you don't have your -2 to agility.
Yeah, so
I'll just say, get your shit together. You're supposed to be in charge here. I might not like you, and you might not like me.
No.
We have a job to do. So fucking get to it.
glad I got that recorded. You just said I'm in charge. Thank you. After our argument last time.
And then I
Just
shoot
few
Ryan
days
in the
ago.
face.
Yeah. So
All
of
right.
course, Joe, you're not
Which
privy
way
to
would you
it,
like to
but-
go? Go left?
Depends on what the motion tracker says.
So just a rough, as you're kind of standing out here looking, you can actually see towards the right, if you kind of head towards the right, we'll call it clockwise around the ship. That mountain range is that direction, or more so that direction. It's on that side of the ship. Whereas if you head counterclockwise or kind of left around the science base, it's just more open to the open plains.
So the motion tracker outdoors is extreme range,
Oh.
automatically detects the presence of any large moving objects. And yeah.
Okay. Yeah, automatically detects it. You do get a blip. Yeah, they would pick that up if it's extreme range. You get a blip. At first, that radar style ping kind of sets off. You're looking at the square screen on this thing, cut into a grid, kind of like the northeast kind of quadrant at the far edge. There's a blip there for a second. And you watch it and you see that it separates into two. Doesn't seem to be really closing in. It's not, your scanner's not showing that it's getting any closer. They're just, whatever these two things are, just kind of moving back and forth, kind of towards the direction of those mountains. Yeah. But just kind of moving back and forth on the very edge of this scanner's range.
Got movement to the northeast, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like one, but now it's two. It's a ways away. It doesn't seem to be coming to us, though.
Define a ways away.
I don't know what the measurement would actually be.
Is it like within a reasonable walking distance theoretically, or is it way out there?
Looking, we're going to say in this open plain, Dr. Pierce, you'd easily pull out like 30-40 minute walk on foot.
Okay.
Relay it.
All right. All right. And just the, what, one or two you said?
Started as one, but then split into two. Perhaps they were coming together and then going toward that mountain. Again that mountain.
Yeah, I'm not eager about sending you over there, actually. You ever want to play the incompetence card and be like, oh, we drove the wrong site and we had to leave? I'm okay with that. But
Ryan, your reputation might not mean anything to you, but mine means everything to me. I don't play an incompetence card.
all right, Dragon, since there does not appear to be any imminent threat, unless you want to walk around a little bit more, we can button it up and get back to work.
I would like to do that. I am concerned that if we went there without the operational vehicle, the time frame of healthy exposure to this atmosphere is at approximately 30 minutes.
That's
Were someone
without
to
a
be
suit.
injured out there. I am concerned that if we confront whatever this is, somebody
sorry.
may have their suit
I'm
compromised.
sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Okay, head
Yeah,
back in.
Joe just go straight back to work.
Okay. You close up. Leo, it's at about this point. Dr. Spinner is getting kind of squirrely. It's been a good break, but I do need to get back to work.
Of course, Doctor, don't let me keep you. But if you ever want to have another discussion and some coffee, or maybe I'm running at the gym, just let me know. It's good to keep care of your mental health as well, you see. Been alone a long time, Doctor.
I have.
I get up, offer out my big mitt to shake his hand.
He does. Kind of clammy, weak shake. Yeah.
Again, so we're on live comms. I'll say, well, doctor, you go on back to your post then. It was good talking to you.
Okay. So yeah, the rest of you get the signal that Dr. Spinner's returning to the ship. Joe, you get back to work. You're still looking at like 4 hours worth of work in front of you at this point. I will say, if anyone else wants to assist Joe,
Yeah, I'll assist Joe. I've got heavy machinery.
okay. Go ahead and give me that heavy machinery test. Dr. Pierce, is there anything you're wanting to do in this time, or just head back to his scientific logs, or?
Working on that, yeah, I suppose I'll just continue to peruse the logs, see what I can find. If
Sure.
Dragon's uncovered anything, then I can sift through even further.
Okay, cool. We'll say with your success there, Ryan, you'll pull that down to 3 hours. Dr. Pierce, I want another observation roll for getting back into these logs. And then Leo, are you heading back onto the science station?
Yes, I am now wondering about our what are they called? Stasis chambers. So, does this lab should this lab have those chambers
Yes.
as well?
Yes, because it's a vessel. It's a ship itself that essentially they just landed and planted it to act as their science.
I want to check it out. I want to go down there and see if there's anything odd about theirs.
Sure. Once you get down there, we'll do an observation test. Oh, snap. We'll have to wait and see what 500 bits gets us because I've forgotten. Dr. Pierce, did you give me that observation roll?
I just wanted to, before I rolled, I was going to use my signature item to reduce some of my stress. So while I'm sitting at the console, I'll get the fishing lure out and I'll kind of rub it in my fingers. I don't care if the hooks pierce me or not.
Sure, yeah.
We're going to go fishing one day, Graham.
While I'm helping Dragon, I do pull out the picture my kid drew for me.
Okay.
Take a look at it. Put it back in my pocket.
Let's see, 500 bits. Why don't we call that? So 100 is remove a stress. We got 500. 300 bits is going to be a banked +1 bonus. Why don't we call that everyone pull 2 stress down in addition to those of you using your personal items. You can pull your stress down for that. And then we'll keep that as a banked +1 bonus die.
Nice.
So we all drop 2 stress?
I'll drop 2 stress right away.
Okay.
So, Dr. Pierce, you're keeping it together. What kind of data? Are you looking for any kind of data in particular, or just seeing what you can find?
At this point, I think I'm curious about any indigenous life. We're getting signals, motion sensors out there, something like that.
Yes. So the information that you're going to find off that are harvesters. The only known indigenous life on this planet. The out here, no natural predators, so they're known to getting very large. Survive off processing minerals and whatnot in the soil. Travel in pairs, and you can actually, now that you kind of digging through this information, you can find log notes on it, and you can actually kind of start to suss out, like, as this planet cycles around its star, migratory patterns, and this would be the type of year where harvesters would be moving by. So seeing 2 at the far end in this area would kind of fit their previous observation in harvesters. Now, a thing that you definitely pick up is 5-6 years ago, they stopped tracking that. Wasn't something they continued to monitor.
So I don't really know if the motion tracker really distinguishes size, because I would think that Pierce would have some knowledge of
Yeah.
harvesters, that they're very, very large,
Mm.
extraordinary big creatures, not to be confused for a person. So, I'm not sure.
Dr. Pierce, with all your doctorates and your knowledge, and you've mentioned previously that you were working on kind of engineering style, I would say you would kind of know that in flat spaces, the size of an object that your sensor detects, it can kind of skew. Larger moving objects can be picked up further out, where smaller moving objects, that extreme range, may not pick them up as well, if at all, in some cases. And that can even lead to situations where very large things moving in the distance can be picked up where by specs it shouldn't be able to.
Understood. And then I'll just continue to pour montage of just green screen research.
Sure. So, Leo, you're checking out this cryo bay. You, right off the bat, moving down, you find where it's at in their ship. It is a large cryo base, probably got 40 pods in it, even though the crew only had 20. That could be redundancy. It could be that the ship was initially intended for even more personnel. Moving into this cryo, like center of the ship, most secure place, just in case there's any catastrophic failures. Fortifications. It has been fortified. Additional crew doors have been set up on the path there. Additional paneling has been placed on the doors that are there, like welded into place. No signs of anything breaking in, I guess is what I'm trying to put that as. And then when you finally get into the cryo bay itself, all the pods are empty. You can very easily see that off a glance. But this place has been maintained in a way that the rest of the ship is not. It's clean, it's dust free. Everything looks to be still in good shape. Nothing scavenged.
All right. Just check the logs for anything funny, I guess. And that's
Sure.
it. I'll call out to everyone. How's it going out there? You guys seen anything odd out there?
There will be a comm tech while you test that, but I'll leave that open for if anyone else wants to respond to Leo.
Ryan is oddly good at heavy machinery. I'm
Took a
excited
lot
that
of
we're
jobs
working
and
together.
worn a lot of hats.
So your comm tech, you start digging through logs. Of course, you wouldn't know the problem that Dr. Pierce has had, where the scientific data has been relocated into weird spots. But you would start picking up that. The maintenance, regular maintenance. These things are getting regular maintenance that is still being logged, and you can see that it is actively being logged by Dr. Spinner, which is a kind of mental clarity that you haven't gotten from him so far in your observations. You can actually see that the last few, it looks like he's taken a few cryo sleeps, moving a few months at a time here and there. Yeah.
Okay.
Over probably the past 2 or 3 years, like one out of
So-
like every 4 months, he cryo sleeps away.
These things probably keep track of health logs while they're
Mhm.
under.
They
Anything
do.
odd?
So no, they do keep track. There's nothing odd that comes up. You do definitely pick up that he's kind of got as he moves into these heightened vitals, heart rate's going faster than what shouldn't actually be resting. Signs of stress is what I'm trying to get at.
Okay. Interesting.
Distress, duress. Yeah.
Okay.
As Ryan's
Got nothing
working,
else I really want to do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna thumb open the open comms. Yeah, Dr. Pierce, could you do me a favor and check to see if there's any kind of message indicating that there's a second crew coming anytime soon? I remember the doctor mentioning that. Also, I'd like to apologize. I do it to your face, but we're just trying to get this ready to roll for my unprofessional conduct earlier. And thank you for getting me settled down earlier. I do appreciate it.
It appears well. Look for the information that Ryan requested.
I don't want to keep doing Comtech rolls for basic information. There's no sign of that. There's no log of that. In fact, that you can tell that he was getting those regular shipments of supplies on unmanned vessels, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he just kind of
They-
stopped putting
I think
those
we
in.
learned
Yeah.
that they were only working Joe androids.
Right.
They didn't have any cryo sleep.
Right. Not
Capability.
because that's, yeah, you were investigating to see if these people he said were taking a leave and then quitting.
Mhm.
And that was not the case. And you can actually kind of track back through the logs because these aren't necessarily in the hidden spots on these computers. And you do have the password for basic access on these.
It was password Brent.
Yeah. No signs of another crew coming to relieve him.
Ryan, there's no signs at all. None
Alright.
whatsoever.
Damn. I was afraid of that. All right.
So,
Well, we'll let you know when this is done down here.
we'll move forward a shift. Just get some time under our belts here.
Hey, we can
Everyone
do some
keeps
stuff.
kind of focused on what you're working on, different things here and there to pick up. And kind of into shift, Joe, you and Ryan have finished repairing these. Coming up, you could head out if you want, but you've all been working for a very long time. It could infect some things in the future, but you could definitely head out to do these core samples now if you want, or you could retire for a shift of rest. It's up to you all. The question I'm going to get at is if you all choose to rest, Dr. Spinner's very eagerly set up bunks for you here on this vessel. Or you could head back to your own bunks on your own ship.
I'm all for sleeping in my own quarters.
Dr. Pierce?
Dr. Pierce?
I concur.
All right.
Okay.
We
Considering the
appreciate
doctor's
the
been tampering
hospitality
with
off there,
sleep
doctor,
quarters.
but
Okay. Yeah. Dr. Spinner is very kind of distraught by this, but he lets it go eventually. Joe, you don't need to sleep, but your crew does.
Would you care for me to remain here?
Ryan?
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
I trust Dragon.
So, Dragon, you're on the science vessel or station overnight on your own. Those of you resting, uneventful night. No trouble, depending on Joe.
I have plugged in my motion sensor to recharge it.
Okay.
It severely decharged when I was using it outside.
Yeah. It's definitely a rule I need to try and remember is that we have to do usage rolls after.
I rolled it. I just didn't bring it up.
Okay. Joe, where are you going to are you just patrolling, just moving around the vessel, or staying in one particular location?
I believe it would be appropriate to patrol, and much as Dr. Pierce pointed out, there may be an individual who is roaming the perimeter looking for a way in. I've managed to secure one door, but there may be other areas that are not secure.
Like it. Yeah, very cool. Okay, so the hours pass by. Joe, it's uneventful, but you're used to this style of routine until you're kind of moving past you're moving past this bay that you've been working in. And as you are, it's loud, so I'm not going to call for an observation test. There is a definite pounding noise, just a repeated boom, boom, boom. Like on you know the sound, something striking the exterior of the ship, that metal reverberating. It's loud. You hear it. How do you want to handle this?
I will move in to investigate. I will turn on my data transmitting chip to make sure that whatever is happening here will be sent both audio and visual back to the rest of the crew.
Okay, so the rest of you would get that flicker on of screens as you start getting a live feed from Joe. Joe, you move into the hangar bay. You close the door behind you. The boom, boom. It almost sounds like it's kind of picking up in intensity. Coming from outside the door.
I'll go and see if I can find an angle where whatever it is visible. But if not, I'm not going to compromise the safety of the bay.
So this big door, solid, like a garage door without the windows, right? It rolls down, it seals. There's no way from where you're at that you can see outside. At least not from inside the garage bay, but you can hear this banging noise. It's not enough that it's like rattling the door. And in fact, you kind of take a moment to kind of listen, move around to different points, and it doesn't sound like it's hitting the door. It's like it's hitting on one side of the door. Let's give me an observation test here.
Is this the same area that was compromised before?
Yeah, is what I'm having you roll for.
Gotcha. It's observation.
Yeah. Well, you guessed it. So
Yeah.
and you pass it anyway. Yeah, it sounds like this thing is hitting right at these controls that you just spent time repairing on the exterior of the ship.
I'm terribly sorry. You have not been granted access to this ship or to this facility. Can you identify yourself?
You speak, and the banging stops. No response, just silence.
Please identify yourself.
Nothing.
I am Working Joe, designation DR460N.
Now, the rest of you, I would say, probably have been woken up by this. You would be getting feeds. As Joe, you call out again. No response. Nothing. What are the rest of you going to do in this?
Do we have any exterior cameras on our ship that might have an angle on that?
No, not on your ship.
Okay. Is there any way we could patch into the feeds that are from our ship to the feeds that are on the science station?
Yes, it's not going to be easy with essentially the tampering that Dr. Spinner has done. So if you want to give me a ComTech, you can, but I am going to require 2 successes for this to work.
All right, I'll give it a shot. Dr. Pierce, would you like to assist me with this?
Sure.
Okay.
Should remove your stress, by the way. You just
yeah.
rested for a long time.
Why don't we do that again? Because if I remember correctly,
Yeah.
Jeff, when you do an assist, they get to add a +1 for your assist, just like in Forbidden Lands.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Okay. So Ryan, right click on that skill. You're gonna put we'll remove your stress first. Right click on that skill and just put in a +1.
Okay.
You rolled 2 successes. That's what I wanted.
Cool.
As this is going on, you're watching this banging, or you're hearing Joe kind of respond to this banging. You and Dr. Pierce kind of scramble quickly to essentially hack into this science vessel's camera feed, and you can see it. You see this man standing outside in the remains of a tattered pressure suit. Feed's a little fuzzy, but Dr. Pierce, you kind of get the look that this dude's got one boot on. Still only have one arm, but his arms and his legs, his body seems unnaturally elongated, like this pressure suit, this tattered pressure suit. He kind of like stretched inside of it and ripped it.
Well, we're looking through the visual. Is this something where I could apply my analysis talent, where I could try to gain some insight,
Yeah.
roll an observation?
Yeah,
Basically, if I could take a turn to do this.
sure, yeah.
All right.
And Leo, yeah, that'll be a success. Good. Leo, you're also watching. You're getting this view that Ryan and Dr. Pierce have kind of patched in as well. So you're included in this. Okay, 1 success. That's fine. Yeah.
I have 2. Just
Oh.
2 successes on the push.
Oh, okay.
So I want to figure out a few things.
Mm-hmm.
Is it human or alien?
Yes.
And then what problems could it cause?
Yes. Okay. First off, human or alien? How do I want to phrase this? It looks like it was human. Definitely looks like it was human. It biomechanical kind of things going through it. You can see, think very Borg-like. Like that's the kind of thing I'm thinking of from like Star Trek, where
It's as if its vac suit has somehow fused with it. It's not all entirely human, but it is not entirely unhuman either.
yeah, and you can see that it's got these biomechanical attachments all over it. You can see that
Those attachments there, Ryan. Look at those. What are those for, do you think? They can't. It's not like anything on any sort of suit. They were added
some
there, grafted
mechanical
on.
life form that's
So-
wearing that like a skin suit puppet.
I am
Perhaps.
going to show an image to the players here, and I'll let the players kind of describe what they're going to see. Now, players, I do want to let you know that I prepped this like years ago. So it was well before Midjourney existed. So it is very much a stolen image. As you see this thing, one
Nice.
arm
Interesting.
banging against the lock, and you can tell with the way it's striking. The what's your second question? What kind of trouble could it cause? What kind of damage could it do? You can see as it's striking this spot on the ship, sparks are flying out. You can see the metal on the exterior of the on this panel kind of warping around the where it's punching at. Like it is strong enough that it is moving this, steel or whatever it would be in the future.
And it's Dragon who can hear this on the other side of the wall, right?
It is.
The banging.
He heard the banging, and then you're kind of like, as you're taking these observations, as Joe is trying to communicate with it. As soon as Joe speaks out, this thing straightens up, and you can see kind of like these strange kind of like lights kind of coming out from its interior. kind of flicker for a second. Like imagine an old computer where you would have that hard drive light that would kind of flicker as it's processing information. And then it just turns and it sprints towards the northwest. Inhuman speed. Just very long strides, very fast movement.
Fascinating. It's as if its biomechanical implants have increased its physical prowess. Dragon, whatever you said to it, I think it recognized your words, your voice. Maybe not comprehension, but that thing has speed and strength that perhaps even superior to your own, Dragon.
It makes sense that it would recognize me. You always know a working Joe.
That's true. That's
You're
very
right.
true.
The
yeah.
section that it was beating on, what's kept in there? What's on the other side of that?
Joe, you can answer that question.
I'm sorry, come again?
This, where it was beating at, what's on the other side? And Tim Scott, thank you for those bits. That is going to be a complication. We got 15 minutes left, so I don't know if we're going to get to that tonight, but I am noting that you have purchased us a complication. And I will make sure to include that.
There was the area that I repaired on the door earlier that we had assumed the doctor had sabotaged for reasons not fully understood. This being was banging, as it was said, at that exact spot. It had come to the place that it was known to it, clearly, to try and gain access to the facilities.
Maybe there's some semblance of whatever.
Let me clarify that for just a moment. Is specifically, it was beating at the control panel to open the door on the exterior.
Indeed. It was not simply beating at the door. It was going for the control panel.
Wait.
Oh,
Do
shit.
you think it could be the missing crew members?
Missing crew.
That ship that came down.
For all we know, someone's doing experiments out here. Maybe they
Yes.
somehow abducted the crew.
How much stress do people have? You all should be pretty much reset, right?
Yeah.
I'm stress-free.
0.
Okay. Chandrazzini, why don't we go ahead? I'm going to bump that up to, rather than using that on stress, we're going to count that as 2 bonus die. So right now you all are sitting on 3 bonus die.
Nice.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Continue on.
All right. How big are the vehicles?
They're
Like, can they sit? Can they sit 2 people, 3 people?
they could easily sit like 6 to 8 people.
Okay. So
Now, one of them is very clearly, oh, snap, Steven. We're going to go ahead and throw that at more bonus dice. Thank you. That's another 2. One of them is designed. You can tell you worked on these things very much. Personnel transport. Seats 8, not a problem. The other one seats 2, but it's like a truck. Think it's got this large cargo flatbed in the back.
Okay.
It could seat 3 if you wanted to squeeze into the bench seat up front.
And which one did we have Dragon fixing up?
You did both of them.
Oh, we did both.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what do you think? Should we all take a ride out there?
Refresher before we get that question answered. Leo, you were seeing all this, and I don't remember if you asked anything during this, or were you just taking it in?
Just taking it in.
Mm-hmm. Okay, continue on, please.
Also, Ryan, during my time before this, I have completed my observational report of our pilot's negligence during our landing procedures. I would like to submit these to you.
Great.
Joe spent like a good hour like writing up immaculately detailed things of any procedural errors that Otto made and filing an official complaint.
We'll just tap our data transmittal cards together and Beep. speaking of our pilot, we might want him for driving.
Sure. Okay. So are you all loading into this vehicle and heading out? Okay.
Well, for it.
We're at 49. And this is a very good wrapping point. So we'll call it here tonight. Tim Scott, well, everyone who gave us bits, thank you. But Tim Scott, I do have your complication, and I do know at this point how it's going to be used, and that will unfold next session.
Oh boy.
The waffles were horrible. That's the complication.
They're full of crickets.
Complications never have terrible outcomes in Alien.
Okay. We got some XP questions to do. Let's do those. Come on, XP questions. There we go. All right, let's get through these. Did you participate in the session? If you do, you get an XP. Did you risk or sacrifice something to further your personal agenda? You have all picked out your own personal agenda, so I'll leave it up to each of you to decide if that was something that was done. Did you risk your life for your buddy PC? Yeah. We got a big yes here. Did you challenge or stand up to your rival PC? Dr. Pierce and Ryan both get this, although Ryan did end up apologizing after Dr. Pierce kind of talked him down off the stress ledge. Did you make a panic roll? Everyone but Jeremy gets that one, because you all made panic rolls. Did you overcome a dangerous event using violent or non-violent means? Jeremy, I'm going to let you take this one. Did you make a specific or a significant discovery or revelation? I think so. We're definitely learning more as this unfolds. You're picking up more of the kind of the backstory, learning about the threats here. So yeah. Does anyone think they performed an extraordinary action of some kind? Okay. And the last one, did you earn money? No, you're not going to earn any money till the job's done. Okie dokie.
Well, I mean, I am going to bill him for my psychiatric services, but
you'll have to get back and
it.
process that bill first, and then I'll have to pay it. It's got to go through the insurance companies. You're 6 months out.
I don't
from that
take
money.
insurance. It's cash only.
Oh, cash only. Okay, that's a little quicker then. Yeah. Let me make one last note. Session 3. Picking up. Okay.
So how much experience do you need to buy anything?
It's 10 if I remember correctly.
There's a spot for it on your character sheet.
Yeah.
I see there's 2 rows of 10. So once you filled up one roll, you get something.
Yes, you can spend 5 XP to increase a level. You can get 5 XP to get a talent.
Oh, it's 5.
Yeah.
Yes.
It doesn't scale like Forbidden Lands does.
Okay.
Yes, but technically you're supposed to make a wits test to successfully get the talent. And then I think the skill test, I'd have to look it up. You might actually have to roll the skill, or you have to justify it, or have a teacher or something like that.
Yeah.
There's like a catch to it.
Yeah, with these chapters aren't going to be super long. So I would be cool with bypassing that. If you get enough XP to buy something, just take it.
Well, I'm definitely going to get a point in manipulation. If he's going to be acting counselor,
Fair.
then yeah.
Developing your character. I'll read that later. Doesn't matter. Okay. Let's do our closing plugs. You know what? We'll go in the order of the introductions. Jeremy, Why don't you tell us about this Patreon?
Yeah, Aaron Reese on Patreon. You've got comics, maps, tokens, other arts assets, and RPG assets. Check it out.
Very cool. Bert, what you got happening this week?
Oh, well, this Friday, we've got some BX Dungeons and Dragons playing in the Mystara universe going on. Saturday, Cyberpunk Red, playing a cyberpunk slash sitcom storyline. And what is this Sunday?
It's a Shadowrun, isn't it?
Shadowrun Sunday? Yes, Shadowrun
Yeah,
Sunday.
we did do
So,
Shadowrun 3 days ago. Yeah, Shadowrun. Very cool. John, you got anything happening?
I do. Tomorrow over on Slices and Dices, twitch.tv Slices and Dices. Finally picking up my Savage Rifts game. So it's been on hiatus for a little bit. So
Cool.
super excited to get to it.
Very cool. And Jeff, what do the Gaggers got happening?
TV/The Lollygaggers on Friday. We're playing Hunter the Reckoning, continuing our chronicle. On Saturday, we're back to playing Orbital Blues, third of our 4-week campaign. And then on Monday, we'll be back to Holla for Savage Worlds.
Where my character is still alive. Barely. Very nice. Okay. As far as Defenders go, if you come back this Friday, 10 p.m. Central, you can catch John and myself playing some Dungeon Crawl Classics, our Deadlands campaign where the party is trying to gather the components so a wizard can make a rocket ship shaped like a pepper shaker to launch it at the monster that's eating the sun. Saturday, during the day, I'll be with Grim and Perilous Studios. We got an event at a place, I don't remember the name of it, where we're going to be given a live demo. Oh my gosh, Adam just sent me a little bit ago. Here we go. I'll go ahead. So if you're in the Kansas City, Missouri area, and you want to get your chance to buy some tickets to come get a Zweihander demo, fuck you, goddamn thing. Here's where you can do that. Saturday night, I don't know what time on Grim and Perilous Plays. I want to be running some Tiny Dungeon for some of the crew up there. And then, yeah, next Wednesday, 9 p.m. Central, same time, same place, we'll be continuing the story for session 3 of chapter 1 of All Fear the Ishtar. So, more alien goodness. That's all I got. So until we see you next time, don't trust Dr. Brent Spinner. Deuces. Oh, I didn't even get this. God dang it, Chuck. Every freaking time. All right, we'll catch y'all later.